Draymond Green has built a career off intensity, passion, and pure emotion. But somewhere along the line, that fire started burning out of control. From technical fouls to locker room drama, he's become one of the most unpredictable figures in the NBA. Fans love him. Critics can't stand him. And even the Warriors seem stuck trying to manage him. So why did Draymond punch his own teammate? And is his temper the reason the Warriors lost a title? Well, let's find out together. Understanding Draymond's temperament. Few players wear their emotions like Draymond Green, and even fewer weaponize them as effectively. Every possession, every defensive stance, every whistle is met with full-on emotion. That's part of what's made him such an important piece of the Golden State Warriors' success over the past decade. But his energy isn't just about getting hyped after a big stop or screaming in celebration after a dunk. Draymond plays angry, and that anger has been both his weapon and his weakness. From day one, Draymond was never the most athletic or flashy guy on the court. He was a second-round pick in 2012, undersized for a power forward, not quick enough to be a wing. But what he lacked in measurables, he made up for with his intensity. He's built his career on hustle plays, emotional leadership, and the kind of in-your-face defense that frustrates stars and energizes teammates. He talks constantly on defense, directs traffic like a quarterback, and throws himself into every battle. That fire is part of why he's a four-time NBA All-Star and was named the Defensive Player of the Year in 2017.
Whoa. I'll take it from here. And the 2017 Kia NBA Defensive Player of the Year goes to Draymond Green.
But here's the thing, that same emotional edge often tips over. Draymond isn't good at dialing it down. When a call doesn't go his way, or a teammate misses a rotation, or an opponent starts chirping back, Draymond reacts. Loudly, aggressively, and often irrationally. His need to confront everything, especially the referees, has led to a career filled with technical fouls. As of 2025, Draymond ranks among the top active players in technical fouls, routinely finishing each season with double digits. In fact, during the 2022-23 regular season, he was tied for the most technical fouls in the league with 17. And with games like this,
Green just such a great passer.
Fields just picked up his third foul. And now Green runs over Nurkic, and he'll be called for the foul, and they're going to take a look at this.
You can't expect anything less. Suspensions and ejections have followed. Some of them have been game-changing. He's been tossed out of playoff games for things like reacting just a little too hard to a call. This isn't new behavior. It's a pattern that's been consistent since his early years in the league. His approach doesn't allow for restraint. Once Draymond gets going, it's like watching a fuse burn down. The explosion feels inevitable.
Donovan, Sadiq's Bey, an open three, perfect. And now, Isaiah Stewart and Draymond Green. Remember, Draymond already has one T in this game.
His defenders will tell you that this fire is what makes him great, and there's truth to that. The Warriors' defense often runs through Draymond's motor, his communication, his constant pressure. But that same motor doesn't have an off switch. Draymond's temperament is rare. It's the type that wins games and starts fights, sometimes in the same night. He thrives on confrontation, but too often he loses control of the moment. The question isn't whether he's passionate. That's clear. The real question is whether he knows when to stop. And that's where things get messy. Of course, talking about Draymond's emotional style wouldn't be complete without revisiting the moments that made headlines. The jaw-dropping, suspension-worthy, locker-room-shaking incidents. So let's break down the biggest moments where Draymond's emotions exploded and took the game with them. But before we get into that, if you're enjoying so far, please subscribe. Now, moving on. Draymond's most controversial incidents. When Draymond Green snaps, it's rarely quiet, and it's never forgotten. And over the years, there's been a long list of moments when he snaps. These aren't just small arguments or minor scuffles. These are incidents that shook the Warriors' locker room, made headlines across the league, and in some cases actually changed the course of the team's season. One of the most infamous incidents came during the 2023 NBA playoffs against the Sacramento Kings. In Game 2 of the first-round series, Domantas Sabonis fell to the ground and grabbed Draymond's leg. What happened next went viral instantly. The NBA reviewed that play and hit him with a one-game suspension for a history of unsportsmanlike acts. That was the key part: history. The league didn't just punish him for the stomp, but for everything leading up to it over the years. That suspension shifted momentum in the series, and the Kings took advantage before the Warriors eventually clawed back. Still, it was another moment where Draymond's reaction put his team in a bad position. Then came the Rudy Gobert headlock during the 2023-24 regular season. This one was wild. A scuffle broke out just minutes into a game between the Warriors and Timberwolves. No punches, just typical pushing and shoving. But Draymond took it to another level. He put Rudy Gobert in a full-on headlock and dragged him several feet down the court before the refs broke it up.
Working on Wiggins, little step back three. And so we're scoreless. We'll stay 0-0 the first 2 minutes. And then look at Klay Thompson and McDaniels. What is going on with that? Wow. You've got a full-on fracas going on. Draymond came in to defend Klay. This got out of hand very quickly.
Look at Klay Thompson's jersey. It's ripped up. Now, that's more than a scuffle.
He didn't let go quickly either. He was aggressive, completely unnecessary, and landed him another suspension, this time for 5 games. Gobert later said, every time Steph doesn't play, he doesn't want to play either, implying Draymond only creates chaos when Curry isn't around. Whether that's true or not, the optics were terrible, and it painted Green as unhinged again. But Draymond's most shocking moment wasn't even on the court. It was at practice in 2022. That's when video leaked of him punching Jordan Poole during a preseason workout. Not a shove, not a heated argument, a full-blown punch that dropped Poole to the ground. The Warriors tried to downplay it, but the damage was done. The video tore through NBA Twitter. It hurt team chemistry, created a media circus, and arguably played a part in Poole being traded the following offseason. That incident made it clear. Draymond doesn't just lose control in games. It can happen behind closed doors, too. And then there's the infamous 2018 clash with Kevin Durant. Late in a regular season game against the Clippers, Draymond grabbed a rebound and ignored Durant calling for the ball. He turned it over, and the two exchanged words on the bench. Draymond yelled, "We don't need you. We won without you."
15-5 run. The Clippers did not score in the final 5:15. The Warriors scored the last.
It wasn't just a heat-of-the-moment jab. It was personal. It hit at Durant's deepest insecurities, and it lingered long after the game ended. The confrontation reportedly played a huge role in KD's decision to leave Golden State after the 2019 season. The Warriors tried to move on, but that moment left a scar. Most recently, in the 2025 playoffs, Draymond fouled out of Game 3 against the Timberwolves after another emotionally charged performance. Frustrated with the officiating and clearly fed up with his reputation, he made a post-game statement that added another layer to his story. He told the media, "I'm tired of the agenda to make me look like an angry black man. I'm just out here competing." His words drew mixed reactions. Some supported him, saying the media does push racialized narratives. Others pointed out that his track record made it hard to ignore the patterns. Either way, it sparked another debate about how Draymond is viewed and how much of that is self-inflicted. These moments aren't just highlights or controversies. They're evidence of a bigger issue, a player who can't seem to manage his emotions when it matters most. And every time it happens, the Warriors are left scrambling to adjust. There are times when that anger led to the Warriors losing games and championships. So let's take a look at when Draymond's actions didn't just cause drama, they changed the scoreboard. When anger costs championships. Let's start with the most obvious and painful example, the 2016 NBA Finals. The Warriors were up 3-1 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were one win away from finishing off what could have been the greatest season in NBA history. 73 regular season wins, back-to-back titles, dominance from start to finish. But then Draymond got suspended for Game 5. He'd been walking a tightrope with flagrant foul points all postseason, and after getting tangled with LeBron James and swinging at him, a shot that many viewed as below the belt, the league had no choice but to suspend him. The Warriors lost Game 5 at home, then Game 6 in Cleveland, and eventually Game 7. That suspension shifted everything. Fast forward to the 2023 playoffs. The Warriors were up against the Lakers in a tough Western Conference semifinal series. Every possession mattered. In Game 3, Draymond got into it with the officials and was ejected in the second half. Golden State was already struggling to deal with Anthony Davis, and losing Draymond's defensive presence made it worse. The Lakers took advantage and won the game, giving them a 2-1 series lead. From that point on, the Warriors never regained control. Even in the 2024-25 regular season, Draymond's suspensions created huge problems. He missed multiple key games due to repeat flagrant fouls and technicals. At one point, he was suspended for 5 straight games after the Gobert incident, then again for accumulating too many technicals over the course of the season. During those stretches, Steph Curry was forced to carry the team with limited support. The Warriors struggled to maintain a playoff positioning, and the locker room started to show cracks. That kind of volatility doesn't just impact wins and losses, it messes with team chemistry. Now, here's where things get complicated. Despite everything, the Warriors still need Draymond. So are the Warriors trapped in a situation where the guy who can save them is also the guy who might blow it up? Let's talk about that next. The Warriors' double-edged sword. As wild and frustrating as Draymond Green can be, there's one thing the Warriors can't deny. They don't function the same without him. And that's the dilemma. On defense, Draymond's value is hard to measure with just numbers. Sure, the stats are solid. He's averaged over a steal and a block per game throughout most of his career. But it's his presence that changes everything. He's a switch-everything defender who can guard all 5 positions, call out coverages in real time, and rotate faster than most players can recognize what's happening. His IQ is elite. When he's locked in, the entire Warriors defense flows around him. Screens are handled better, passing lanes are tighter, communication is sharper. It's no coincidence that Golden State's defensive rating often improves significantly with Draymond on the court. During these title runs, he was the backbone of the defense, constantly in the right place at the right time, barking out instructions, closing off mismatches before they even happened. Steph Curry has also backed him. Publicly, Curry defends Draymond at every turn, emphasizing how important his energy and leadership are. Steve Kerr does the same. After the Jordan Poole incident, after the Sabonis stomp, even after the Gobert headlock, they both stood in front of the cameras and explained why they're still committed to him. But behind the scenes, the patience has to be wearing thin. Every wasted season is a missed shot at another title. When Draymond gets ejected or suspended, Curry ends up carrying more weight. He never throws his teammate under the bus, but it's clear that the chaos wears on him. That's why this situation is so tricky. You can't bench Draymond, not without gutting the Warriors' defensive identity. No one else on the roster brings what he does, but at the same time, if he doesn't grow, if he keeps letting his temper override his value, then the Warriors can't realistically compete at the highest level anymore. They don't have enough time or depth to keep surviving his meltdowns. The team is aging, the championship window is shrinking. They need consistency, not drama. The 2025 NBA playoffs has felt like a crossroads for the Golden State Warriors, and Draymond Green is right in the middle of it. With aging stars, inconsistent depth, and tougher competition in the West, this year's run has become a must-win stretch. Facing back-to-back series against the young, hungry Houston Rockets and the physical, relentless Minnesota Timberwolves, the Warriors have had no room for error. And that's exactly why Draymond's behavior has once again become the biggest question mark in their season. So whether or not Draymond can keep it down remains to be seen, But when he does, the Golden State Warriors might be the hardest team to beat. So, has Draymond Green learned enough from the chaos he's caused? Or will his temper once again write the ending to the Warriors story? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the NBA's most talked about stories.